Oh, hey, it's Alice. Hey,
Uh,
Alice. You walked in at a great time. We got Ryan from Echo Pilot
what's up? How are you guys doing?
doing
So good.
fucking great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you guys for having me.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we
Yeah.
got Courtney,
What up?
Shrieking Violet.
She's rocking the sunglasses, stylish.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think they might make UV rays worse though, so it's not good for your health.
It's about style.
It is.
You know, beauty,
Poshness.
yeah,
Live
beauty
and
has
die by the
consequences.
aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly.
So you are going on tour soon. This will probably, you'll probably be back from tour by the time this goes up.
Yes, sir.
But you're hitting, what was it, Asheville, Charleston, and Atlanta.
Yeah, we're excited. We're hitting those spots in July, late July. So the 21st, the 22nd, and 23rd, we're touring for a debut record. Really excited.
So just pretend you've already done it. How was it? How was that tour?
It was so good, man. Every place sold out. It was
Hell yeah.
wild.
Hell yeah.
What's the worst thing that happened to you on the road?
Oh, dude, the car broke down.
Holy shit.
Couple fucking, flat tires. Like,
Had to
no,
sell
that's a bad
t-shirts,
omen.
really.
Yeah, that's a bad omen. I don't want to put that on.
This
on
podcast
us.
tells the future.
Yeah, I don't want that. I don't want that at all. No, it'll be smooth. We're really excited though. We're pumped, and we released that debut record last month. And thank you for coming out to the show at the basement.
Yeah,
It was
absolutely.
fun. Yeah, we had
A day
fun.
like this, available everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely. We got CDs too.
Hell yeah.
If you still listen to CDs.
Go analog, baby. You're so postmodern.
Exactly.
But no, that's awesome, man.
Thanks.
So like over, I guess, how long of a writing period was this album?
It's been a while, honestly. So we formed in 2018, and we've had these songs since we formed. Gabe and I, who's the other guitar player in the band, we wrote the majority of this first record. So we were really patient with it. And 2020 happened and all that stuff too, while we were finishing the record. So we've just been patient to release it, and we just had fine-tuned things since then. And over these last 4 years, just kind of really honed in on the songs and made them better and stuff too. So I'm thankful that we were patient with it, because I'm really proud of the record.
You came out with a bang, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Mhm.
We love the music, and I'm excited about the songs, and hopefully they speak to people.
Absolutely. You guys had some really great press, like right off the bat, talking about your album, weren't you, on the radio?
Yeah, we go on 102.9 The Buzz. So
Cool.
yeah, Andy Heron, he's always been really good to us, and we always have fun out there. It's always a good time. Yeah, and he plays our music on the local buzz nights and stuff like that, and gets us a lot of press that way, and hopefully some new ears to listen. So that's always good.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a nice community here.
We do, man.
It's like yeah, there's so many different limbs to it, but it's starting to come together.
It really is, man. And I've seen it over the past 4 years too, like when we formed as a band. And it's about just like the camaraderie with the whole scene in Nashville. I've always been a firm believer, if you just got to support other people in order to be able to succeed as well, like with your own art, because then those people will come in turn help you out, and you can piggyback off each other, which is always a good thing. And everybody's been really supportive, and we just want to reciprocate that.
Yeah, it's a really important thing to do, not to get too mushy, but like live music is really important all the time, but like right now is a really hard time for a lot of people. It has been for a while, but
right.
But I have no idea where we'd be without this sort of ability to come together as artists and
right,
just do what actually feeds us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I feel like most musicians, come out of their own pocket. It's like with any art, you spend so much money on your gear, you spend so much time on your craft, and and you literally, rip your skin off and show the world who you are, even if you're not the type of person that likes to do that.
Yeah.
Because that's how you know how to communicate, and you do it in front of people that aren't always there to receive you. Like
That's
maybe you're not getting Coke cans to the head anymore. Maybe you are. I don't know if we have those kind of rowdy crowds, but I've definitely been at plenty of bars where they didn't want live music. They didn't care about what I was doing. They're like, why are you interrupting my game?
Yeah, no, I get that. And it's, you have to be vulnerable as an artist too, just like to express yourself. And you kind of, you want to be able to relate to people in a variety of ways too. That's the beauty of music too, is like you could get people from all different types of backgrounds and different beliefs or anything like that. But when you go to a show or a concert with thousands of people, or even just 10 people, and you're hanging out and enjoying live music, I mean, you're there together as like a group, just having a good time, and you can forget about everything else, that all the bullshit that's going on in life, all the hard things that are going around right now and stuff. So it's great to be back to playing music.
Yeah. And like you said, like it's an avenue for a lot of people from a lot of different walks of life to come together where they might not normally see each other, or might not even like normally get along with each other. But
That's very
when
true.
when you bump into each other in the pit, like you're having a good time, and like that's your friend, like immediately.
Exactly. Yeah,
Common
no,
ground.
it's amazing, honestly.
Yeah.
And you can go to any type of genre, type of music or anything like that too, and it'll even be wider, like a wide,
Right.
diverse crowd and stuff like that. Which, I mean, I am a rock and roller, so but I do love all types of music and everything too. So
Yeah. I know for me at least, and I assume most people who make music, growing up, I think we all went through a lot of growing pains, and for me, music was where I found my salvation. And when I started creating music, I just remember thinking, I didn't think, I want to do world tours, I want to make tons of money. But don't get me wrong, I wouldn't make that.
no.
But I thought, if I could just like impact one person the way that like bands impacted me,
Absolutely.
the bands that saved my life, then like it's all worthwhile. The effort is worthwhile. What I've been through is worthwhile. And I think that's the beauty of music.
It is. Yeah, that's an amazing perspective. And I feel the same exact way. The way I approach music is really similar. Like I do it because I want people to feel something when they're listening to my music, on top of me just loving to write songs and play live and do that kind of thing. But I want somebody to feel, a release of some type of, emotion or something while they're watching us play or watching me perform or something like that. And like you said, like growing up too, like that was my escape, listening to records, growing up, listening to whatever, Green Day, or Zeppelin or any of those bands, that I was into. I completely lost myself in that. And, that's what got the bug for me anyways, to play guitar. And, I got lost in all that.
So on that topic, was there like one band or one moment growing up where you remember thinking, I want to do that. This is what, I want to dedicate my life to.
Oh, absolutely. So I was like 13, and this is like what, 2006 or something, during dial-up internet. So it took a while to load up, but it was like the early YouTube days, and I saw this live BBC from 1977 of AC/DC, of Angus Young, their lead guitar player. He's got like a schoolboy outfit. He's running around just going crazy, shredding these leads and like getting on the ground, doing this spasm type thing and just going crazy. And then they just go into Let There Be Rock. And it was just so badass to me. Like, I was just like, holy shit. Like, I want to do that, I want to be able to have that type of emotion come through me, and ever since then, man, I just had that bug. And I feel like it happens when you're around like 13 to like 15 or something like that. It's in those formative years where I don't know if it's just like something your brain connects to or what, but
I think there is a science to it, and I have this theory that the music that we listen to as teenagers is always going to be the music that impacts us the most, no matter how old we get. And I want to say social psychology says that like the teenage brain and the adolescent brain feels everything like 150 to 200% as much. That's why, you know, the teenage saying of like, oh, you're ruining my life. It's because it really feels that way to them. Emotions are amplified. And I believe it's because of that scientifically that we're able to connect to things in such a way that it's just like next tier.
Yeah. I couldn't tell you how many times like I would just shut my door in my house and just play music as loud as I could. And even before playing guitar, like I would get like a tennis racket and I'd set it to like upside down and just pretend it was a guitar and just like shred in my room like a little bedroom rock star. That's a little embarrassing, people, but that's what I did.
I had a Daisy Rock heart-shaped guitar that my mom picked me up, and I couldn't play it. I didn't know a single chord shape, but I plugged it into my little first act amp, and I turned up the distortion, and I could have swore I was playing the Degrassi theme song. Rocking out.
Dude, what a great show. I always loved watching that growing up. That was so fun.
Looking back, I'm like, if I had kids, they wouldn't watch that. But
I know, right? They got into some serious stuff.
All the wrong things.
I know. It's wild.
They go there.
Oh, they do. It's cool though.
So what do you think will ultimately kill humanity?
Oh.
Shoot, man.
That's
yeah. I mean, you know,
that's the best way to do it.
Pollution, you know, we're our own enemy, honestly. You know, we're doing all these things to the earth that's just destroying it.
That's what Rit said.
Oh yeah. I was like, huh? But no, it's just like that you see the ocean and it's just like filled with trash and plastic. It's really unfortunate, man. But that's a heavy question. Yeah. I'm not entirely sure, but it's slowly deteriorating. I feel like, you know, and we have to be able to kind of revamp it.
No, I mean, it's a huge problem. We have landfills and then the ocean, the air pollution. I know, I mean, like obviously nuclear waste isn't a good thing.
No.
But as far as I understand, nuclear energy is far more efficient than solar, coal, any fossil fuels, like anything we have.
Right.
It's more eco-friendly because it produces so much more. Now, the problem with that is you have like, okay, what if these facilities aren't maintained while we have a meltdown? That's a problem.
Yeah.
But like in theory, if you could maintain these things and have like do it efficiently, then it would have the least bio footprint on the earth. Although you still have nuclear waste you have to deal with. They usually bury it, which I don't know that that's a solution. Yeah. Shoot that shit into space. Honestly, there's plenty of it.
There's so much of it. That's a good idea.
There's so much of it.
Come on. Like space will get mad at us, and like that's what killed the dinosaurs, and they were so much stronger and bigger than us. Like, don't piss off space. That's where the ozone, like you're gonna go right through it's not good.
So now you're going to see a Webb telescope in another 13 billion years. It's just going to be plastic floating around.
Like 100 years from now, 200 years from now, people on Earth are going to be talking about like, what are we going to do about this space pollution, you guys?
Like I kind of think it's a non-issue, right? Because like, think about it. It's fucking space. It's huge.
I think if we held corporations responsible for their waste, that would be a very realistic, manageable step that we would know the outcome of more so than sending trash into space.
I guess we'd also it couldn't just leave Earth, right? Because then we just can't have it just orbiting our planet. We have to get it out of orbit. Like we have to get it like far out.
Like far now, out, if you want to be, you know, a garbage man, you got to be an astronaut. You're telling me?
Yeah, that's just
sanitation workers.
Yeah, exactly. I just think if any person just takes a step to just recycle or just like do little things, pick things up, that just a little action items like that, it could help drastically.
That's probably a more realistic solution than shooting it out.
and I agree with that, but I still feel like there are bigger players that we need to be holding as a part of that as well. You know, like for example, in our city, I want to say we only do recycling pickup once a month now. And with Amazon being as big as it is, like people can't afford to hold like their boxes and their packaging, their recycling for a whole month. And
It's
sometimes
true.
your house gets skipped, you know. Why is the city cutting those corners when our tax rates just go up and up, and
Yeah.
we don't have new roads, we don't have sidewalks? Like where is it going? You know, I've seen the
Yeah.
park plans, and sometimes I mean, I think parks departments are one of the most important branches of government, but anytime I do see a parks plan that happens to go through, it's never what was promised or what was agreed upon,
Sure.
you know, at the
Sounds like
council
government.
meetings.
But we need a new football stadium, guys. We need one of those so we can just bring all the tourists in for the Super Bowl.
All
Just
I'm
money,
saying is
money, money.
I was promised a dog park and a skate park within walking distance, and I got neither.
Yeah, come on. Are you kidding me?
True.
You're trying to incorporate even more California in here, aren't you? A lot of California people moving here. I love it. I'm just messing around.
How long have you been here?
I've been here for 6 years.
Are
Okay.
you from
Yeah.
California?
No,
Okay,
I'm just
glad I didn't say something shady.
No,
I
you-
love California. I'd like to go there, but
yeah.
they are driving up the prices.
I know.
I know a lot of people that have fled
From
like
California?
fled like Sodom and Gomorrah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all like, it's so cheap here, and I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not-
true. That is like
Rent is 3 times what it was when I moved here 10 years ago. What do you mean?
That's just because California is ridiculous out there.
I'm from Mississippi. I was
Right.
escaping oppression and bigots. No offense, Mississippi, you're great in
I
a
feel
lot of
you.
ways.
It can't be that much worse than here, is it? I
This-
guess I'm wrong.
This is a bubble of Tennessee. It's probably similar to the boonies of Tennessee, but Nashville is a bubble and it's not the fucking South.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
tell that to everybody.
Yeah,
I'm from
Nashville-
Tupelo, Mississippi.
It's a blue area in
Yeah.
a red state for sure.
I mean, I grew up like hour and a half south of here, like small town.
If you wanted to see a good band, you drove to Memphis.
You can go.
Mm.
So you spent some time in Memphis then.
Oh yeah, Memphis. I went there a few times. I went there to see the Runaways in theater because they did a
Nice.
limited run and you couldn't see that in my hometown. I
Mhm.
spent a lot of time at the New Daisy off Beale Street. I was too young to realize that Beale Street is probably a place that you should be a little bit cautious and just a little bit afraid. But I was like, this is fucking great.
Yeah.
Mud Island, the
Right.
outdoor amphitheater.
I've never been, but I want to go.
It's a
I want to
great
have the
place.
barbecue for sure.
We always went to Huntsville. You've been to Huntsville?
I've been to Huntsville.
I haven't.
Everywhere in the southeast.
I'd like to play a show down there sometime. It'd be fun. Huntsville.
Yeah, it's on the up and up.
Yeah,
It's not what it was like, like when I was 16, It's like,
sure.
it's definitely like developed a lot more.
Okay.
So
That's
you're
cool.
from here?
No, I'm from Indianapolis.
Oh yeah, you
originally.
told me that before we started.
Yeah, no worries.
That's
Yeah,
a cool place.
yeah, it's
That's,
cool.
That's another bubble, really.
Yeah,
Maybe that's most states where if you're outside a major metropolis, like
yeah. Big cities are different,
they do.
because it's a melting pot of a variety of people.
Yeah.
But it was a good place to grow up. I was just south of Indianapolis. Like I was still considered Indianapolis, but it was a town called Greenwood that I was close by. And yeah, I had a good childhood, good upbringing and everything. It was good to grow up there. And, I cut my teeth trying to learn how to play music and stuff with my friends and
Yeah.
did stupid shit. But
I'm pretty sure my favorite band is based out of Indianapolis.
who's that?
Margot and the Nuclear So-and-Sos.
I don't know if I've heard of that band.
They're really
Nice.
folky. What would you call it?
I don't know.
It's like indie folk music.
It's somewhat folky, but it's like in the emo adjacent of folk.
Cool. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're based out of there.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm out of the loop. I need to get
Is
in.
there
it.
like is there a music scene?
There is. I remember it being like really metal heavy over
Okay.
there, honestly. But I went to shows here and there growing up and stuff, and I had some buddies that they were in a really good band in town, so I would see them play. And I was in a band in high school and stuff, just trying to play songs and stuff. We played covers and tried to write songs and stuff like that too. So It was fun.
So I'm gonna look less intelligent than I think I am, but how far is Bloomington from Indianapolis?
It's like 45 miles probably.
Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad.
No,
all
it's
things
not bad.
considered. I've heard that Bloomington is like the capital of folk punk, which
There
like
you go.
speaks to my soul. Did you
Yeah.
ever get the chance to go out there and see any good shows like that?
I've
Is
saw
that
a
true?
few shows in Bloomington. Yeah, that's where the Indiana University is. I went to Purdue, which is the rival school, so I went up north. But no, Bloomington's a cool town too. Like, I mean, it's super pretty over there, and there's a lot of artsy people there too. And yeah, I saw a couple shows at the Bluebird there, which is cool.
We have
Yeah.
a Bluebird too.
I know, right? I
Probably
haven't even
more
been.
famous.
I haven't even been to the Nashville Bluebird.
I won't go.
No,
You can't even curse.
oh, I can't even say.
Yeah, like I feel so
Shit.
like it sounds like they're so strict that I need to say curse instead of
You
cuss.
can't even
'cause-
say the fuck word.
yeah, you can't say fuck. And I was like, I'm not going.
Yeah, yeah. I don't blame
You wouldn't like me anyway.
Riders rounds, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Mostly?
they do open mic nights, which are basically set up like rounds, from my understanding. I've never been,
Yeah.
so I don't think they'd like me, and I have a setup that generally doesn't fit the format.
You
Well,
wouldn't- you
fuck
wouldn't-
them.
You wouldn't
Fuck
be able
them.
to. You wouldn't. No, yeah, none of your songs would work.
I don't cuss in all my songs. I just really don't think they'd enjoy it. And I've gotten to the point of success that I don't play gigs that aren't good for me in some way.
You got to be able to say no. You know,
It's hard.
It's
Just
hard to
love
say no,
play.
but-
And like honestly, even the bad ones, I'm sure you'll agree, it's like it's an opportunity to try out new things with no pressure and like not worry if you fuck up. Maybe you just wrote a song and you
Yeah.
got a really exciting gig coming up that you, because I was talking to a friend about this. He's like, sometimes missed opportunities are blessings, because if you're not ready for something and you present yourself in a certain way, you may never get the opportunity to do something like that again.
it's true.
But sometimes those gigs, you know, like I played Franz East Side recently, and I
Yeah.
wasn't expecting much. Don't get me wrong, I love Franz East Side, hands down my favorite bar in
Yeah,
all
shout
of
out to
Nashville.
friends.
Yeah.
He will tell you I'm not just bragging because we're on the air. Like that's the fucking truth. That's my favorite bar at
Yeah, it's a
karaoke
cool
there. But I
spot.
was sitting there thinking, on a Wednesday night, they're not gonna like Streaking Violet. Like I went into it with no expectations, and they fucking liked it. Next night I went to karaoke. There were people that were like playing original, and I'm like, I just have a microphone.
Let me go grab my guitar real quick.
you never know. And I think every gig can be an opportunity. It's just knowing when to say no and not forcing yourself to say yes.
Right. Yeah. I think there's pros and cons of both. Like, we don't, like us personally, like we don't want to oversaturate the market too much. You know, like we'll play a good amount of shows like in a month or whatever, but we try to shoot for just like once a month in Nashville, because Nashville's hard, man. It's the crowd, you know, it's hard to get a crowd out there. You know, you're playing in front of a bunch of other musicians too. And, you know, it can be difficult, but,
I
you know,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're
Like,
good.
that is something I've heard a few times. That like even for hometown acts, Nashville doesn't show out, and when they do, it's not, the crowd isn't into it the way you will if you go to tour in another city.
right.
Even if you're from Nashville, even if it's a hometown band, which I think, you know, like this is just me talking to Alice. Like, you need to step your game up. Like, show
I was about
some
to say,
support.
we're gonna yell at you, Nashville.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's something I've heard too many times. Like, why would Nashville? You know, and I know what it is. Like, everyone has a stick up their ass. It's everyone's a musician.
Right. And don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing on any of it. Like, there's
I am,
everything's
but not you. I am.
no, I get it. I totally get it, because there are people out there that are gonna cross their arms and be judgmental out there and like judge you for what you're doing. But there is a lot of people out there that are
That's
supportive too,
That is also
that'll
true.
get into your music and stuff.
Mhm.
It's just, you know, it can be difficult to
Definitely.
schedule out, you know, when you're playing shows in Nashville and stuff. Just because you want to bring your friends, you know, every time. And, you know, we've all been there where we're like, oh, I just saw them last week, I don't want to see them again. So it's like you want to kind of space that out a little bit, maybe.
I don't feel that way. I understand that a lot of
Yeah.
people do, but I don't feel that way. I will say, if I have two friends performing the same night
Yeah.
and I can only go to one, and I did just see one within the week and I haven't seen the other in a while, I'll be like, okay, I should go support them
Sure.
tonight. But like,
Yeah.
I could see Titans of Siren like endless times and
Oh,
like
yeah.
be equally as enthused.
Sure, yeah, no, I'd feel the same
Fuck
way.
you
Like,
And I
guys.
think
I
Yeah.
could go see a bunch of, I could see them 3 times in a row. I love
Right.
them, but it's just like we're as working musicians, we're so busy too that like we might want to stay at home just like and hone in on our craft or something, or like maybe I know sometimes I just don't have the energy to go out and
I
socialize.
200% feel
And-
that.
Yeah.
And he's somebody with infinite energy. I don't understand it. I don't think he's a human, but there's many a night when he's
Sleep
like,
is
"Are
for
you
the
going?" And I'm like, I work at least 40 hours a week, and I already did things once or twice this weekend, and I just need a day to like not get out of my pajamas and eat like a fucking animal on my couch and watch shows that I should be ashamed of.
It's a reset day is what I call.
Yeah, just gotta recharge.
Yeah. But I
Um,
mean, I definitely have trucked through though and went and supported my friends and went out to network and all that stuff too.
Me too.
that's
You gotta
what I-
have a
I've
balance.
even shown up just for their set, and even though I didn't have the energy to move around, and I'm the type of person that always tries to like physically show out for somebody in the crowd, even if like we're the only ones there. This been nice where all I could do is like hug the wall, be there for their set, and be like, "You were amazing. I've got to go home and
Exactly.
like die."
Yeah.
And there is like I get what you're saying, and then like I also get what you're saying about when it comes to like oversaturating the market.
Mhm.
Because like I definitely agree with you that like I would go see you an endless number of times. I would go see Echo Pilot an endless number of times. I would go
Yeah.
see Types of Siren an endless number of
Well, now
times.
none of us feel special. Good job.
No, it's
Yeah.
no, it's more like the three of you are really special.
No, I appreciate
Well,
that. No, I take it as a compliment. I really do. Thank you. But yeah, I mean,
oh.
if we have the opportunity to play multiple shows in a month,
But
of course, so we can do it and we will do it. But you have to have like maybe a little bit of a strategy about
Yeah,
it just
sorry,
to
I
get a
didn't-
crowd.
I
No,
didn't
you're
finish
good.
My thought. Sorry. Yes, that's what I was basically gonna get at is even though that's true, like we feel that way. A lot of people maybe not as involved don't. And like you said, I mean there is something to be said about shout out to our friends Weird Sisters. Like they
Love them,
play
Come on the show.
They play yeah,
Do
they
it,
come,
Isaac.
They come on
Do it, Gabby.
they come on. I mean, they
Invite me
play
to
a
your roller
show.
skating party.
They play a show like maybe like once every like 6 weeks, usually something like that.
See,
And they get a big
they have a
turnout.
system.
They
They have a
get they
system.
get a really good turnout, and
Seems
that's
it.
they. I mean, and they're a great fucking act too. But if they played every week, they wouldn't get the same draw. That's not to say that they wouldn't get a massive draw. They would, but they know what they're doing, and like that's like what you're saying too.
Exactly.
There is a compromise. There is a middle way. You don't want to play all the time. You don't want to play every night
No,
because
that's too much work.
well that too. Yeah.
The strategy's right.
Yeah.
I just ideally I would love to play once a week. And I know it's
Oh,
not
yeah.
what's gonna make me successful, but it's just what I enjoy doing. Like it's the only thing that will surefire get me out of the house. It's the only thing I'll say yes to every
Mhm.
time. It's the only thing that makes me feel alive in the best and the worst of ways.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
You
Like
should
I will
definitely play as much as you
turn
want to,
down anything but a gig for anything other than a gig. So that's just to say I won't cancel a gig for a better gig, but
Right.
I'll throw fucking anybody, any plans under the bus if I get a gig.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm
What
just
about
shit
my
friend.
funeral?
Can
I get hit by a
So for
bus.
the-
Can I play at your
Yeah,
funeral so
fuck
that
yeah.
it is a
Sure,
gig and then
sure.
it's a gray area?
You heard it
Okay.
here, Alice.
Like,
That- if you have a
if I
gig that
if I have
night,
a
yeah.
dry spell, I'll fucking murder you.
I'm already dead.
But yeah, I for a minute there I was doing all right. I was drawing 10 to 15 people a night, which for me I was like, that's pretty good to have that
course.
number of people that are there for me. But I have seen it, go
Yeah.
a little. I shouldn't tell Alice that, she's not gonna vote me. But I definitely see what you're saying. It's very valid. But for me, it's like I'm scared
should
that my
definitely
next
play as
meal
much as you want to.
isn't gonna come next. And like
Yeah.
honestly, it's what I want to do,
Yeah. Hey, yeah, I feel the same way too. And that's why we're gonna, flirt with going on the road a little bit too. We're playing, yeah, this is a little flirt, but 3 dates in a row, we're playing different
You
cities.
said flirt and then dates.
Yeah, flirt, dates, all of it. But yeah, three days in a row we're playing shows. I can't wait. I'm really excited to do that, and ideally I'd love to play every night and stuff too, but it's hard like doing a DIY tour because so much, you have to have money that goes into it and stuff. And even this little 3-day run, it a lot of time and energy goes into it, and I'm excited. But
I was saying gas is expensive.
More so than ever. We've said that like forever, for the history of ever, but like it's actually real true right now.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I know. It's real
And
bad.
like it's really hard for touring musicians right now. Like so, like you said, like even a 3-day sprint, like that's a thing. That's a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the thing is we were talking to Pete Raines from You Bred Raptors, and something he said is like, we would love to be able to like actually like buy a better van and like take the time to like get our stuff together. But the thing about the game is if you stop moving, you stop existing. So you can't stop. You can't plan ahead and get your things together and like save, because as soon as you stop moving, you become irrelevant. And then what do you do with something you've sunk all your money into?
It's true. Yeah,
double-edged sword.
You always have to keep working at it. And I'm a firm believer like in manifesting things too. Like if you manifest something, it'll happen. If you put your heart and your soul into it, no matter what it is, and you say this is gonna happen, it'll happen.
I totally agree with you. That's a whole rabbit hole.
I mean, I agree with you, but it's kind of like aliens. I want to believe, but I'm very agnostic, like to the highest degree. I don't believe anything. I'm like, that's real fun to think about it.
You don't believe in aliens?
I said I don't believe in anything.
Including aliens?
I don't know. Like you saw the episode that I did, like my first time meeting you, where my answer to everything was like, it's really cool to think about, and like we can get into theories, but there's no way to know. Like nobody fucking knows.
No one knows anything. You don't know that you're alive. I think therefore I am is a nonsense statement. What does that mean? But that's not what we're talking about. You don't believe in aliens?
I didn't say that. I said it's like, because the phrase, I think it was X-Files, was I want to believe. Yeah. That was the reference that I was making. I wasn't saying I want to believe in it, but I don't know about aliens. If you had to
guess, which no one knows, but if you had to guess,
my answer would be I don't know. But like, we know so little about a vast universe. It's totally possible.
Let me finish the question. If you had to guess whether other life existed in the universe overall.
You got to understand, I'm the type of person that they asked me for an estimate at work, and I was like, I don't do estimates. This is an exactament.
But one is more likely than the other, right?
I don't know that. We don't have enough evidence to know that one is more likely than the other. You see, everything is magic before we have science to explain it.
I think we have a lot of evidence to suggest that life would.
Then maybe I'm just saying I need to do more research to give you an answer on what I believe, but I think it's totally possible that there's life besides us out there in this vast universe. I'm not so self-important that I believe that we're the only like cognizant beings out here, and this is the only planet with life on it. Like, no, I don't think that that's necessarily the truth. I'm just saying we don't fucking know.
We don't know. Well, no one knows anything at all.
Yeah. To me, it's just like there's so many galaxies, and it's just infinite space. To me, it's like there's no way there isn't any type of life out there.
I'm right there with you.
That's my thing.
They call it a statistical impossibility because it's so the idea that there wouldn't be other life showing up is mathematically impossible.
You see, that's a decent explanation. I would say that's agreeable.
Yeah, but that also doesn't mean that we're not alone in the universe. It just means it's a mathematical impossibility.
I don't know. We're pretty alone in this universe. That's just being well.
Yeah, but I mean, maybe math's wrong. Maybe we just don't understand.
Math is the only thing that's right.
I was gonna ask you if you believe in aliens, but you answered that.
Oh yeah. I do.
Do you think aliens have interacted with Earth before?
That's a good question, because if you look into like UFOs and all that stuff too, you know, I'd like to say yes.
Do you think there's like this alien out there that's like, yo, man, I discovered Earth?
Very
Come
well
on the
could be.
podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
about
Come
it.
on, talk with us. But no, I think so.
So
I do.
this is his question, but I want to ruin the mood.
Go for it.
When's the last time you cried?
The last time I cried, that's a good one.
And then it was my question.
Yeah. It's been maybe like a few months.
Do you remember why?
Yeah.
I was about to say that long ago. You probably should remember
Yeah.
why.
Yeah. It was just a conversation I had with my fiance. It's just, a little something. But
It's for me it was when I was reading Survivor. We have a book club every month.
oh yeah.
This month we're reading Stranger by Albert Camus.
Nice.
Basically, on the first of the month, I announce a book, and
Uh-huh.
then the last,
Usually Wednesday.
usually Wednesday. This
He
month,
fucks up my whole life.
this month we're doing it the last Tuesday of the month.
Order in the court.
But yeah, no, nice. Get a bunch of people. We do a live stream, talk about it. But last month we read Survivor by Chuck Palahniuk.
Oh, okay.
And it was just
Teared up a little bit.
there was some no, I was crying.
Oh yeah.
Like it
Overcame you.
no, there were some parts in it that like really hit close to home for me.
I'm glad to say you're allowed to divulge in this context, but hand me the hammer.
Yeah, here you go.
I said order and I
hammer it
didn't
down.
have it, and it ruined my whole fucking day. You bring disorder to this podcast.
That's my job. But yeah, that it's like life is raw as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
We're all well, I don't want to speak for everyone, but assumably we're all confused and afraid, and
Yeah.
we don't know what's going on, and we're just taking it day by day, and that's everyone. And like anyone who tells you differently is lying.
Maybe
Yeah.
they're just trying to manifest. You don't have to call
Oh,
them
true,
liars.
True.
All right, we're fine. We're all good here. Everything is great.
No, there's a lot
Alex.
to be said about mindset. That's important too. Like I
Yeah.
think both things can be true. We can take a step out from it and say, that's how reality works, but then also say like manifest outwards.
That's a whole rabbit hole.
Yeah,
Honestly.
we're all trying to figure it out ourselves on our own, this
Mhm.
crazy life, every day there's new experiences. You live and you learn. There's life lessons that happen. As you get older, you get wiser,
Yeah.
I think,
That's the plan.
Yeah, that's a plan.
Do you have any ghost stories?
Oh yeah, I think we have a ghost in our house actually.
Okay.
Oh man.
So
Do
Recent.
tell if you
Yeah.
want to.
Don't make it
Yeah.
mad.
no, it's cool.
It's not
So
here.
here we
It
go.
does watch the podcast though.
I haven't seen it before, right? But he or she or they or them or whatever, they show themselves to me. So we have a guest room, right? And there's a closet that has a lock with like one of those hooks that like hangs on one of those like circular metal like rings, and it just like hooks on. That's how it latches and locks. And there's like no way that this could really unlock or anything. Like it's firm, it's on there. And literally like we know we've locked it, and we'll go out and like go do some things or whatever, do groceries or whatever. We come back, the thing's unlatched and the door's like a little bit creaked open.
Okay. So you don't have a guest room, you have a ghost room, and the ghost does not like to feel trapped.
Yeah. It could be, but it's crazy because I was in there one day when it unhooked. Like I heard it and then it opens.
Oh shit.
So
that feels
I was
great.
I was like, telling my family, I was like, Chloe, I was like, there's something happening. So it's wild when that actually happened, and I'll know when I lock it, and then when I come back in, like after a few hours, it's unlocked.
I hate that.
Okay.
I like locked doors. We had this
Yeah.
conversation when
What do
you first
you-
got here.
What do you make of that? What do you think?
I've never had any negative energy in that house. So honestly, my fiance was more scared of it than I was. I, it spooked me a little bit, but I never felt any type of like negative way about it. And it could have been a positive spirit that was in there, or it could have been completely nothing. Who knows? But I like to believe like there's, something was going on there, because naturally it's, locks on a hook like that.
Do you want to do an episode where Alex comes to your house and tries to communicate with the guest? I don't do it. I won't do it because I don't fuck with things that I shouldn't fuck with, but he fucks with all the things he shouldn't fuck with.
No, because then I would start really feeling a little anxious. I got some anxiety, so I'd be a little, yeah. I'll just leave it at,
if you say you don't have anxiety, you're a manifester. I'll just say that.
Is this the first time something like this has happened in your life?
Yeah, actually, which is, surprising, but I've heard a lot of good stories from my friends. Have you met Josh and Felicia from Year of October?
Yeah.
Great friends of this. They've been on the show before.
Yeah, so
yeah, shout out to Year of October.
They have some stories. I'm not going to tell y'all.
Oh, Felicia's told some stories.
Oh, yeah.
I was about to say, they're coming back.
Yeah. Okay. So knowing someone that's had those stories, it's really intriguing to me.
Oh yeah, I was raised really religiously, and when I turned 18, I got away, moved out, and I was like pretty staunchly an atheist. But I was also like, well, let's just see what's out there, because I don't believe in anything. So I got really into the occult and black magic, and it's really like superficial, like hot topic at first. But long story short, like I never experienced anything supernatural until I went looking for it.
You went out of your way to try and search for something.
Yep.
Yeah.
And like at this point in my life, like I feel very certain about spirits through like work I've done through the Ouija board or psychedelics. Psychedelics are another thing where it's like I have a hard time quantifying something like DMT as anything except going to a place and interacting with something.
Sure.
So like I'm with you about like extraterrestrial aliens as well, where it's like it seems like the universe is way too big for there to not be.
Yeah, that's my mindset with it.
And just through experience, I feel quite certain that there's stuff outside of our dimension, and I'm not quite certain what that is. That's why I asked you when that happened with the door, like what did you think about it? Because like what is that? What force? There has to be a science to it. Just because we don't understand it doesn't mean it doesn't operate a certain way.
Yeah. And I know you ask a question a lot on your podcast of like, what do you think, what happens when you die, right? Yeah. So like to me,
did your research?
Well, he was talking about it before the show too. And to me, it's just like, I love exploring like all types of things. I don't know exactly what happens, but I'm infatuated by reincarnation or something, that to me, that's interesting. But I also believe that like, once we pass, like our spirits could float around, as energy sources around the world, That's why like maybe sometimes if you go somewhere you feel maybe a little anxious or you feel good, like it might be a positive energy or negative energy, just because, this earth is so old, there's so much spirit and there's so many things that have been on this earth that, you can feel those type of things. And it could, it could just be a spirit that used to live in my house or something, and still wants to be there.
If you could, so if that theory is true, if after you pass, you could be any type of energy, go anywhere, interact with anybody, where would you go? What type of person would you interact with, and what would you want to bring them?
Well, I mean, I've always considered myself to be like a positive.
Oh, that's just a very interesting question. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're cool. I mean, I think I'm a positive person and a good person. So I think you know, after I die, if that were to be true, that we're spirits, you know, like I would like to think I'm like a positive energy. I'd like to be close to, you know, my family still,
Okay.
you know, whether it be my grandchildren or something, or just like, you know, the lineage down the line or whatever, and be close to, you know, my family and, you know, make sure they have good energy about them and stuff, and a
Yeah.
positive, I don't know, environment. So that'd be interesting.
Well, like you said, like no one knows. I mean, you said you don't know what happens, but I mean, like not a single person on this planet does, which is
Right.
what makes it so interesting. It's one of the last mysteries, maybe not the last ones. I guess we have a lot of mysteries to cover actually,
Yeah.
but it's like the big mystery
Yeah,
for humanity still.
it is.
And that being said, I think there's multiple answers.
Mhm.
Not like necessarily like a heaven and a hell, but
Right.
I think you have what do you call that? When you go through the cycle of reincarnation again.
Nirvana.
That's the other
like
one.
a realization, you know, like coming
Nirvana,
while you're
yeah.
alive, right?
Well, yeah, Nirvana is a
Reaching
state of being,
spiritual awakening.
and what that means.
Also one of my favorite bands.
Yeah.
Call me Kurt Cobain.
In a living sense, it's like tapping into a certain mindset. In like an afterlife sense, it's returning to source consciousness.
So
So,
like all energy is recycled.
well,
Never
so
destroyed.
you have Nirvana, which is an escape from the reincarnation
If
cycle.
you don't make it
You have-
scientific, I won't agree.
Some of the facts.
So you have Nirvana, which is like it's like a source consciousness, and then I think you have like the cycle of reincarnation. You
Mhm.
just keep coming back to it, so you can go return to loss of ego, but you're with everything. I guess except the people that are down there.
Mhm.
Down here, like, well, we know how this works, so I don't have to explain that. But like, then I think maybe also there is a way to break out of the cycle and not go to nirvana, to die and retain ego, and to kind of move around.
That's an interesting perspective too. I think people just need to be more open to the conversation, you know?
I had a crazy drug trip, which that's exactly what it was, a drug trip. So don't take it with too much.
No, you're good, man.
But it I, I took DMT and blasted off to this other place, and I was shown that like in the beginning there was like the universe was just kind of going, it was just doing its thing,
Yeah.
and then it kind of woke up. Like it was always alive, but it kind of woke up to the fact that it was alive. Like it became self-aware,
Sure.
and it goes, holy shit, I'm the universe. And then it's like, I'm all there is. Like that's, and it's like alone. It's like, so then it creates life. So then it's like very, very alone. So it creates life. So it can go down and like be all these avatars. And like, so I think we're all literally the same person. Like, I think we're all literally God coming down into the minds of each and every single thing.
That's just an manifestation.
Just so we can pretend that there's other people. Just so we can pretend that we're not alone. I think so. Like, I created me, and I created Ryan, and I created Courtney, just so we could like.
Then why give them all so many vastly different experiences? Like, I'm here for this conversation. Sure. I don't believe it. I think it's an interesting one, but we've studied a lot, you know, nature versus nurture, and we've discovered that both play factors. And I feel that theory says that nurture is everything when it isn't, even if maybe it's 80% of it.
I don't think it says that at all. It's more like, because
if we're all, I'll let you finish. I'm just saying, you're saying if we're all the same, then what differentiates us and what expresses us is our
parents'
experience.
Biology and your experiences in life. That's what differentiates.
That is nature, though, and that makes us not the same.
But we're this, okay, but the thing that the soul that drives you is the same exact soul that in this theory, I'm not saying this is true. In this theory, it's the same exact identical soul to what drives Ryan and what drives me. And what makes you different is the experience, what you've gone through, and also your biology.
It's an interesting thing. It's an interesting theory.
And I
It's not-
don't know.
like
I have
it,
no way
'cause
to.
You've all said that we all have the same soul, and like, don't we all want to be special little soul
Oh, certainly.
flakes?
I don't.
We'll
I
just
don't.
go that way now.
I don't like it. I don't like it. But that's
New band name.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
snowflakes.
We all have our each unique
The
DNA.
soul flakes.
Oh, the soul flakes.
Yeah, it's good, right?
That sounds like a breakfast cereal. Soul flakes.
What does it taste like? What is it? Never mind, Alex.
Oh.
It's not enough time. You're running over very shortly. It's not important.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like we each have our own DNA and our own personalities, and the way we approach life is all in different waves, and we experience different wavelengths in life and everything. So, it's an interesting theory that you said, but it's not something that I think I can relate to, probably.
Yeah, it's wrong, right? I'm just kidding.
No,
Well, I think even though it doesn't make it certainly makes me uncomfortable. I don't like, because that's the thing. If what I'm saying is true, I'm not supposed to know that. And it's not
why though?
comfortable.
Why aren't
Now
you
they're gonna
supposed
have
to
to
know?
kill you.
Why am I not supposed to know?
Yeah.
Because it hurts. I came down here to forget that.
Okay.
I literally made all this so I could forget that I'm alone. So remembering that and then coming back is like, oh shit. So like, it's not me telling you guys that is not like, that's breaking the game. That's breaking the whole thing.
Yeah.
No,
You
broke the
because you
code.
made it sad.
It's okay now.
Okay, yeah, we are sad. This isn't what we wanted or expected.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Okay.
Let's yeah.
There are a lot, I mean, manifest.
There's a lot to be happy for.
for.
It's a trying time to be alive, but there's a lot to be happy for.
agree.
Happy about. There's a lot to be like, we have it pretty fucking good despite everything that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Comparatively to anyone who's ever been alive.
You ever feel how lucky you are to be born during this time period, and you weren't born back when you had to just survive every single day and find ways to eat and find ways to provide for.
I'm fucking blind. I'd be dead. I can't hunt for food.
I mean, I agree with that. And, like, I support that under the principle of manifestation, like what we focus on, like things come in abundance, so if you're grateful, then you'll have more things to be grateful for. But at the same time, for anybody that's struggling out there, like, just because somebody has it worse, like, doesn't mean you're not allowed to be sad. That's just as fucking ignorant as saying, just because somebody has it good better than you doesn't mean you're not allowed to be happy. Well, I don't think that's what you guys were saying.
No.
No, it's an important point to make, because both things are true.
There is a toxicity to positivity at times. There can be.
I think you just have to apply the context correctly. It is true that we're at, like, these are the best because of technology. These are the best living conditions, at least in America, and in the first world countries. This is the best, most comfortable time to be alive ever because of technology.
Because of internet. Let's go.
See, so like that can be true, and it's also true that we have a lot of fucking problems, especially here. And like that is, there's a lot of issues.
Exactly.
Right
Some
now.
of them, it's like we've come so far. Like, why are we still fighting this?
Because we have a long way to go. We still have a long way to go. I think I think a lot of things to fix it, but like, what do you think, Ryan? Do you see a pathway out of this? Are you nihilistic towards it?
Towards just how we're living now?
Yeah, I guess, where do you think the world's headed?
Well, I think technology is certainly going to continue to take over. It's only going to get more advanced. And that kind of scares me, just simply because I love, like, just human interaction, stuff like that. Next thing you know, there's going to be robots delivering pizzas to our doors, or something like that. Or we have chips in our brains to where we can navigate like our cell phones just in our brains or whatever, you
And
know,
on the
it's something
bright side,
crazy.
assholes can finally feel good about not tipping.
Yeah. Exactly. Even that stuff. But no, it's just like, yeah, I think technology is going to continue to take over, and what we talked about earlier too, with just like, I mean, pollution is going to continue to get worse. We're our own worst enemy with that, and destroying our planet, you know.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get worse for like, you know, our kids and their kids' kids and our kids, all that stuff.
To like just into the ground, into the collapse of civilization, or is there like
No, I don't think so. I think there's going to be a breaking point,
Okay.
probably.
like an uprise?
Yeah.
He's like, are we gonna set shit on fire yet?
That might
I
not
know
help.
him. No,
But
go away.
I don't know. I mean, it's just like a thought to where like maybe some people might realize like, you know, we're not going to take this anymore, and hopefully can have an influence on humanity to be able to try and save the planet, you know.
Maybe I'm being impatient for it,
Yeah,
but I don't think I am. Like I think we need it now rather than later.
of course. Yeah.
It's time now for like, you see the problem, I think, time to get really radical. I think the problem with like riots, the ones we've seen thus far, is like they get infiltrated and then hit small businesses.
Yeah.
Even hitting Walmart is not going to help.
I was gonna
anything.
say, I feel like lack of focus is
Lack
a
of
big problem there.
absolutely, that is the entire
Like, don't
problem.
get me wrong, I don't
Yeah.
approve of that radical action in general, because I think that it gives the people that are already looking for evidence to disagree with you ammunition to use against you. And
Right.
even if you're doing it for the right reasons, if you're doing the same things as the people you're fighting against, can you really say that you're better than them? Because we all believe inherently we're right, but I think if that is your choice, it's not mine. I try not to judge people when I can, but focus is so important.
So like
Mhm.
fascism is not letting someone speak, like violent oppression of a concept or an idea. That's what fascism is, right?
Right.
And it's like, yes, you don't want to be fascist. You don't want to kill someone for their beliefs. However, when you're fighting it like a fascist system that has already ignored your liberties, they have fired that shot. So retaliation is justified. It's kind of like
the whole world's blind then.
the system is broken. Like getting things done through the proper channels is the people that run our government are puppets for a larger system, and they're never going to give it up. They're never going to. So like these people are not going to magically hold themselves accountable. Someone has to hold them accountable, and the people have to do that. The people have to hold government accountable, because we haven't been doing that. They think they can walk all over us because they can,
Right.
because we let them. And so like unless we show them somehow,
But then you're not a law-abiding citizen.
Everybody, I agree with you, but everybody has a right to live, you know, a right to maintain a living, a right to,
which is exactly why you should
stay
burn
out
down
of
a
jail.
system that affects those people, right? That systematically oppresses those people.
I agree, but like
And anyone who
collectively,
represents it.
we should burn down the system figuratively. And as
Well, I
a
think-
collective, we're not ready to take that risk as individuals because we don't have faith that we'll stand together. But and that's fair, because if this whole nation did a trust fall, I think a lot of us would be busting our spines.
You make a really good point. Like I think you don't. There's actually, I think that the system's fine in a lot of ways. The system is not what's broken. What's broken is people are like not doing it. People are like ignoring the system and like doing other things like lobbying. It's like you're not supposed to do that. It's like you're breaking the system by lobbying. And it's like we need like if the system were actually working, then that's what we need to do. So like when I say tear down the system, remove anyone who is trying to represent us but is not actually representing us.
I think the issue is that the majority of the country doesn't have the privilege or the wealth to lobby, but they've been brainwashed into simping, which is equally as dangerous.
I think you have a lot of there's an issue too with just people not caring, and they should, people feeling motivated to want change. There's so many people out there that I feel like are probably just like, just set in how they are, and they don't want to deal with anything else,
Yeah.
and you
Don't want to rock
gotta
the
have that
boat.
drive, if you gotta have a drive to want to change.
Yep. Yeah. Freedom isn't free. You have to fight for it. And, we really take it for granted here. Like friends that I talk to that grew up in other countries, like their parents fled
Yeah,
from other countries to come here to survive,
right.
to have a fair life. Is like,
Mhm.
it's not the best thing in the world, but like the things that we do have, we take for granted here, and we have to fight for it. It's like we're the only place left that has guns, like we're the way we do. And for better or for worse, like, but we are in a position to do something about an oppressive government,
Sure,
and not a lot of places are.
that's true.
I guess mostly the rest of the world.
Hmm. We do have the freedom
That's why
to
everyone hates
express
us.
ourselves,
Yeah, I mean, not that's why everyone hates us, but that's why other countries hate America. That's the narrative,
right?
and that's probably not true. That's a lot of media narrative too, but that is a give and take of that. There's
Sure.
a lot of that rhetoric, anti-American rhetoric.
Hmm.
Even it's probably largest in America, actually.
It probably is, yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's not cool to be patriotic.
I know. Anti-patriot.
Yeah, it's like I think you can represent. Like I don't know. I not represent. I respect a lot of the values in theory that the country is based on. And it's like, or let's say the Constitution specifically. And it's like, but the problem is that we don't actually abide that system. We have this other weird system.
And I'm not going to get into the rabbit hole, but additionally, the problem is that when the Constitution is enforced by the Supreme Court, a lot of the times they want to say we should get into the mindset that the individuals had at the time that this was written. And I'm like, that was not a great time for this country. Like, if you read it through today's lens, yeah, you can make it out to be a very respectable document. But if you're trying to look at it through the lens of people that wrote it in that time period, like, it doesn't help most of the country.
300 years ago.
Yeah, it's like maybe we should just take the words for what they mean today, because if words change, then we should change.
Yeah, no.
And if we change, words should change.
I'm sure there's something better we can come up with, and I think both things are true. It's the best thing that humanity's come up with, but it's also it can be something better could come along. Absolutely.
Yeah, totally. And a big thing I think in the country too is I don't think people are willing to have conversations. Like even if one of us doesn't have the same beliefs or something, it's always just like button heads, and you got to be able to hear the other person out.
Yep.
And like be sympathetic and just hear them out and just have a conversation.
That's
have a civil conversation.
That's a big part of why I started doing this, actually. Is like because I saw like there's different legs of the music scene in the Nashville Murfreesboro area, and it's like so I wanted to have people on from the Broadway scene and the Murfreesboro punk scene, like everybody,
exactly,
East Side, everyone, and like just play my small part in bringing everyone together, like because that's what it's all about is music.
Man.
And like these conversations are rare, like not that we're talking about anything super important or like this, like we specifically are super important for having this conversation. But more people should be doing this kind of thing.
Should be willing to have deep conversations about life or things that you question about existence, or just even just little things like how our brains work and just a variety of things. I
Yeah.
feel like it's always good because, as a society and as humanity, we're always so very superficial. We're on the surface level, every single day, I'm sure we have conversations or you have a conversation. It's like, hey, how are you? Yeah, I'm good. How are you? Good. And that's it,
That's Yep.
And it's always good to be able to connect with, somebody else and have
Yeah.
like deeper conversations. So I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, yeah, I won't take up too much more of your time. I was just in
No, you're
closing,
good,
I was
dude.
just gonna say, um, fuck, what was I gonna say? Uh, oh yeah, I actually really like, wait, we pretty much agreed about everything we've talked about tonight, which is
Yeah.
which is fun too. But I
Yeah.
actually, I really like talking to people I disagree with too,
Oh yeah.
and just like having like some people that can be an issue, but like I enjoy it because
Yeah.
I think like I have this saying I like to say, I'm dogmatic about anti-dogmatism. It's
Okay.
like I open-mindedness, and like I'm like stern about that.
Yeah. Right. No, it's funny you say that. Like you like to talk with people that you disagree with, and that was just going back to being open about having the conversations
Yeah.
with people, because it opens up a new perspective, and you kind of hear what other people's viewpoints are on just anything, and you can shoot the shit back and forth that way,
Yeah.
and it allows you to kind of expand on what you believe, but it also allows you to hear those people out as well.
And that's really rare. So like I appreciate you joining in this safe space of conversation.
Yeah, no, thank you, man.
Alice, Echo Pilot, streaming everywhere. Go check out Ryan and what he's got going on.
Take care.
Have a good night.
Yeah, later.